and I'm sure our viewers and listeners have learned a lot from you. And last question for you, Coach. When you look ahead to next season, and you mentioned NIL, obviously you're very familiar with the transfer portal and college basketball these days. It's very hard to project what next year's rosters are going to be like across Division One. But is there a team you have your eye on, not as a coach to go to, but that you think could surprise next season theoretically? We saw Ohio State come together down the stretch. They have a bunch of guys coming back that were freshmen. I think Bryce Sensabaugh is gone, but besides that, you have a lot of talent coming back
That's a good
to
question.
Columbus. Yeah, is it Ohio State? Any other programs stick out to you?
Since you bring up the Big Ten, I'll go with Maryland. I think when you have outliers in that league, in the Big Ten, teams that are a little bit different. We were like that at Indiana with our offense. Michigan was like that with John Beilein. When you have some differences now, it's not just the talent difference. Like Zach Edey forces you to defend them a different way, or Trace Jackson Davis forces you to defend them a certain way. But I think Maryland, because of their ability to press, I think because of how Kevin sees the game, how he coaches the game, the recruiting that they can do in that DMV area, the access that they have, what they should have NIL-wise, I think is so important. I mean, this game, my last year at Georgia, first year of the NIL, we had two guys make $1,600, and $1,000 of that was from Crystal, the hamburger place. We had another 6-7 guys make $600. You can't make it like that. And I'm sure Georgia's got a lot more than that now, but it's like you have no chance in this day and age at any level unless you have people that are committed to helping you get to that place. Well, you get to the places like you mentioned with Ohio State, with Maryland, those are no-brainer places. I mean, they absolutely are. I think the ACC will have some people that could be really, really good inside of that league that could surprise, because outside of Duke, that league is wide open. I don't know if I have another answer for you. I think I would look at it this way. The people that have done a really good job in a short period of time of building their programs each year are going to be able to continue to do that, because that's a real art. I mean, it's a real trick right now to be able to get people to come together. And the people that do not rely on ratings, rankings, who's recruiting who, what the numbers were for certain people, the greatest mistake you can make in the transfer portal is believe that they're coming into your program with an intention to make your program better. All right, you've got to be able to really look at, okay, who's open-minded enough to come in here and change? Who can make this jump from one level to the next? Like that length difference, that speed difference from the low and mid-major to the high major, I'm here to tell you that's for real, right? Like that is for real. And that's why Florida Atlantic was such an outlier. And other teams in Conference USA, well, those teams they're strong, they're physical, they're aggressive, and they have skill sets, right? So finding players that have that, the people that can come in and get people to be about a team, to be about the success of others, to not come in as independent contractors just to get paid or just to get their numbers up or just to get to the league. Those are the teams that are going to be successful. So I think you have to look at the program builders that have been builders in a short term right now. And certainly there's going to be the Tom Izzos of the world and people that have destination schools and programs, right? Like those are destinations. Tom Izzo is not going to, same with Matt Painter, they're not going to take back seats because people are always going to want to go to their school outside of high school. And more than likely, they're going to want to stay, right? But in this day and age, there's so many places where everybody thinks the grass is greener somewhere else. The coaches that can really blend those players into their system. UConn is a great model right now. Miami's a great model. Miami had young players. They had players that had been through it, and then they got players through the portal and through the NIL. UConn had some older players that they developed. They had some really good young players, and they got some players that they got through the portal. They all came together, and they blended really, really well. That's easier said than done, and I think the coaches that show that ability and don't get away from that model are going to be the coaches that are going to be successful in this new era of college basketball.
Yeah, and San Diego State is a perfect example of that too.
But they've been doing it that way for years. Brian and Steve were taking transfers and building it in and taking some unknown guys. You know, a Kawhi Leonard who maybe the world didn't all know about him. You know, like those programs, they're not going anywhere, right? San Diego State's not going anywhere. That may not be a name that is a national name. Now, they will be after now, but that's a destination program out west now. I mean, there's still people know you can go there and you can have success. You can be yourself and you're going to play in a sellout crowd, and it's San Diego. I mean, so there's a lot of pluses to that. Now, the key for Brian, will he all of a sudden decide that he's got to be a national recruiter, right? He did that at Michigan, but it was Michigan. As long as these people keep building their programs the way that they have and they're having success with it and they stay with that, they're going to keep having success. But again, it's the ones that can really coach this like their junior college coaches, and that they're really, really comfortable with change, and they're really comfortable bringing people together in short periods of time. They're the ones that are going to be successful, unless they're the ones that can recruit the cream of the crop every year in Division I. But they're very few and far between these days.